Louis Tompkins Wright, black surgeon and hospital administrator, born 1891, died 1952. Louis Tompkins Wright, one of the first black graduates of the Harvard Medical School, was a distinguished surgeon, hospital administrator, and civil rights activist. His talents and determination as a black leader improved access to quality healthcare for black people and the professional prospects of his fellow African American medical practitioners. During Wright's prolonged affiliation with Harlem Hospital in New York City, he became the hospital's surgical director and founded its Cancer Research Center. An active member of the New York City chapter of the NAACP, Wright ultimately chaired its National Board of Directors, holding that position from 1934 until his death. Wright was born on July 23, 1891, in LaGrange, Georgia. He was the younger son of Sia Ketchum and Lula Tompkins Wright. His father, a doctor who practiced for only a short period before becoming a clergyman, died in 1895. In 1899, his mother married William Fletcher Penn, also a physician. Wright enrolled in Clark University in Atlanta, where he was valedictorian of the class of 1911. After being subjected to a special examination, Wright was accepted by the Harvard Medical School, where he was to graduate cum laude and fourth in his class in 1915. After a 2-year internship at Freeman's Hospital in Washington, D.C., he briefly joined his stepfather's practice in Atlanta. In 1917, in the midst of World War I, Wright entered the U.S. Army Medical Corps and was eventually appointed director of surgical wards for an Army field hospital in France. While in France, he was exposed to phosgene gas, which caused him permanent lung damage. For his military service, Wright was awarded the Purple Heart and discharged at the rank of captain, later achieving the rank of lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Medical Reserve Corps through examination. When Wright returned from France in the spring of 1919, he settled into private practice in New York City. Shortly thereafter, the Medical Board of Harlem Hospital was persuaded by Civil Service Commissioner Ferdinand Q. Morton to admit Wright and some other black physicians as provisional adjunct surgeons. A few white doctors on the staff of the hospital, whose clientele was then a prosperous white community, resigned in protest, but Wright quickly established himself professionally. In 1926, he was granted a permanent appointment at the hospital. A few years later, in addition to his hospital commitments, he began his service as surgeon for the New York City Police Department, a post he held for more than 20 years. In 1943, he was named director of Harlem Hospital's Department of Surgery. In 1948, he became president of the Medical Staff Board and director of the hospital's Cancer Research Foundation, and founded the Harlem Hospital Bulletin. Wright's contributions to medicine were various. Early in his career, while an intern at Freeman's Hospital, he was critical of the medical establishment's belief that the Schick test for diphtheria, which for diphtheria-susceptible individuals reddens the skin where injected, was not useful on black patients. His research proved this supposition to be without basis. He originated an intradermal smallpox vaccination method that minimized undesirable side effects. Wright directed the research team that first tested the antibiotic erythromycin for the treatment of venereal disease, and also conducted research with the antibiotic terramycin. He was to publish over 30 papers on erythromycin and 8 papers on teramycin. Wright invented several surgical devices, including a brace for cervical fractures and a plate used in repairing fractures of the knee. His research into skull and brain injuries led to the first authoritative publication in this area by a black doctor. His cancer research, which led to 15 publications, focused on the use of tetropaterin, trithylene, melamine, folic acid, and hormones in chemotherapy. Throughout his career, moreover, Wright opposed various forms of medical discrimination, such as efforts to establish segregated medical facilities, including a segregated veterans hospital in New York. Another achievement was fostering solidarity and harmony among Harlem Hospital's ethnically diverse medical staff. In 1934, Wright became the second black doctor to be admitted to the American College of Physicians. He received an honorary doctorate from Clark University in 1938 and was awarded the NAACP's Spingarn Medal in 1940. In 1952, he was honored by the John A. Andrews Memorial Hospital of the Tuskegee Institute in Alabama. Wright held membership in numerous professional associations, in addition to the American College of Surgeons, including the American Medical Association, the National Medical Association, and the American Board of Surgery. He was also a founding member of the American Academy of Compensation Medicine. The American Academy of Compensation Medicine. In connection with his civil rights activism, he served as president of the Crisis Publishing Company, printers of the Crisis, which was to become the official organ of the NAACP. Wright married Corinne Cook in 1918. They had 2 daughters, Jane Cook Wright, a physician who became director of the Cancer Research Foundation on her father's death, and Barbara Penn Wright, also a physician. Wright died of a heart attack on October 8, 1952. The Lewis T. Wright Medical Library at Harlem Hospital had been established in his honor that same year. In 1969, the Lewis T. Wright Surgical Building at Harlem Hospital was dedicated in his memory. Citations are in the description.